Hello world YouTube. I know I haven't made a video in like a long time. Basically, I'm in a new house, as you can see again for like the third time. New house. Main reason I haven't filmed a video in a while is because Disneyland. I don't want to blame the happiest place on earth, but they kind of dropped my old camera. And when Disneyland drops your camera, apparently they send you a fatty check, but it takes forever to do all the filing paperwork. This is my new camera. First video on my new camera. I don't know what that noise was. My ugly sweater is so ugly. There's a weird stain. I have no idea what it is. This video is going to be my critique on the movie Save Mr. Banks. For those of you who want to see it, I would totally recommend going and seeing it. It was a great movie. I don't know very much about P.L. Travers and her interaction with Disney. So I can't really critique that part of the film, but I'm going to critique the specific part that is Disneyland, when they enter Disneyland and when they go through Disneyland. The first part that I want to critique is when they first enter Disneyland. So they turn the camera around and you can see the ticket booths, you can see kind of the outside part of Disneyland. And yes, it is true that cars were able to park right up next to Disneyland. I don't really know the accuracy on driving into Disneyland. I know that Walt would go to the park as often as he could, but I don't know if he would actually just drive into Disneyland. Because, he's Walt Disney and he can do whatever he wants. My critique on this scene, though, is that you can see the brick outside of the front of Disneyland. And there was no brick. There was just a parking lot. All of California Adventure, all of downtown Disney, that was literally just a parking lot as far as I can see. I remember this parking lot when I was little getting our car lost in it. It was a cool parking lot. It was huge. You could not miss this parking lot. So that's my critique, because in the 60s, that parking lot would have been there. Critique number 2. This is the thing that made me the most angry for the entire film, because really, it's a movie made by Disney. They could have done this. They could have somehow found a way to get around this. It would have worked out. Fantasyland, from opening day until like the 80s when they redid Fantasyland, was not what we see it today. It was like a medieval kind of festival circusy theme. It was not like cobblestoney. It was really bright colors, and it was kind of like have you ever seen like Knight's Tale? It was kind of like that, where it was like a festival type thing, where it was like, I don't know, you know what I mean, right? Along these lines, when they redid Fantasyland and they took that and made it entirely new and what we see it today, in the 80s, they also, when they did this remodel, they remodeled what is now the Pinocchio's Daring Journey. So before it was Pinocchio's Daring Journey, it was the Mickey Mouse Club. And it was the Mickey Mouse Club, it was the Mickey Mouse Club Theater. And it was where you could go for the Mickey Mouse Club things, because that was a TV show that was popular. And then after that, it was just a Fantasyland Theater. This was the Fantasyland Theater / Mickey Mouse Club Theater until the 80s. This movie, it takes place in 61. See my dilemma? While I was in the theater, I'm like, no! The Pinocchio ride was not there. They zoom in on like this Pinocchio label whenever you see them on the carousel. Peeved me. Pinocchio was not there. Incorrect. Another thing that really peeved me was that they have a sign when they get onto the carousel that says 10 cents. And I know anybody who knows anything about Disneyland knows that they did charge. Yes, they did charge, but they charged you to get tickets, and then they would give you a ticket, and you would have to take that ticket to get on the ride. And the carousel was actually a ticket, which was 10 cents, but you would not be paying at the ride. However, they did charge for a certain amount of time, but that was just the first summer, opening summer 1955, where they gave you no tickets and you just gave them money, but then it was a lot of like loose change everywhere, people trying to fumble to get money while they're trying to get on the ride. It was a big dilemma, so that's why they switched over to tickets. Completely inaccurate, because it was today's Fantasyland as opposed to the 60s Fantasyland. The other main issue that I had, which I did talk about in my previous video about Disneyland, is the fact that when you go into Main Street, you walk into Main Street today, you can go into Main Street and you see the partner statue. It's an iconic image that you know Disneyland is. The statue was put in '96. In this movie, you can plainly see the partner statue in front of the castle. This movie takes place in the 60s, people. There was no partner statue. That's basically the things I had wrong with this film. Let's talk about the things that were accurate, though. Accuracy number 1, he did like being called Walt. He would refer to Mr. Disney as his father or an older person. He didn't want to be called Mr. Disney. He wanted to be associated with himself being like known to the common people. He's like, yeah, my name's Walt, what's up? No, the only Mr. in the park is Mr. Toad. We don't call me Mr. Disney, we call me Walt. Just call me Walt. He did do a lot of his movies for his daughters, Sharon and Diane. If you wait to the end of this movie, you do see that the movie was dedicated to Diane. He did die within the past 2 months, so it's rather sad. Another thing that I really appreciated, when you see him sitting at his tables and things, he's going to be going over his plans and things, and I've seen this movie twice now. The first time I could not really see what he was working on. I just assumed, 61, he was maybe working on, pirates, Haunted Mansion, whatever, but the second time I saw the movie, I did see that he was working on plans and they said Florida on him. Working on Disney World, which just made me feel really good in it because if any of you know, he did not actually get to see Disney World even began. Roy took over and worked on what Disney World is today. Other thing I really appreciated, when he's talking to P.L. Travers and they first get into the park, he's talking about a tree that they're building that's all fake with 3 million leaves. That is the Swiss Family Robinson treehouse, which they were actually building, and it's probably finished at this time, it just wasn't open yet. So the Swiss Family Robinson treehouse now currently is the Tarzan treehouse. Other than that, besides my critiques on the errors, the erroneous errors, the movie itself is a beautiful film. It really made me happy. Tom Hanks gets the diction of Walt down excellently. I was so pleased with how he spoke. The whole part with P.L. Travers, I really appreciated how Emma Thompson was very sassy, and you almost want to hate her, but you can't because it's Emma Thompson, and the Sherman brothers were well portrayed, and I just felt that the entire movie was beautiful, though they did get some great errors. Hey Disney, next time you make a movie like this, I could totally be the Stephen Colbert of these movies. For surezies. Okay, I think that's about it. Hopefully next time I'll be making a video that shows you my new house, because it's amazing. So yeah, bye! You just watched Lazar and Dink. Leave a comment and tell me what you think. If you seem to like my groove, hit subscribe and improve your mood.